Hello, this is Brian Rezny, President of Rezny Wealth Management, bringing you an important update about the economy and the investment markets. Well, the first quarter of 2023 is pretty much over and in the books. Looks like we're going to have a positive return for the quarter. Of course, we've had volatility this year, as we've had other years. One of the things that's interesting, and I talked about this at the client luncheons, is about recession. Nobody was calling for a recession last year, but we did have an actual recession last year, which most people probably didn't notice. Now, of course, this year there's massive amount of calls for recession. Some people are going to say it's a bad recession. Some people are saying a kind of an intermediate, maybe a mild recession. You know, at this point, we're definitely seeing a slowdown because of rates. At some point, the Fed's going to take their foot off the gas and basically start reducing rates again, probably the second half. At this point, if we do have some kind of slowdown, I don't think it's going to be materially bad for the overall U.S. economy. Remember, all the recession is a temporary slowdown on the highway. Doesn't mean your car blew up. It doesn't mean you lost your car and all the occupants. All it means is you were doing 75, you've got to slow down to 72 or 71. That's a recession. We have them often, and we're going to have them again. Recessions are great opportunities. I look at, some of the things going on in the banking industry. Of course, we talked about Silicon Valley Bank a couple times in these updates since it happened. And, people are like, well, is there going to be more banks that are going to blow up? Well, the government did the right job, came in, and the Fed, and basically made sure everything was taken care of within the banking industry. So again, this is really a bank with bad management, but they had assets. They just didn't have liquidity, which I've talked about before. So I don't see this as a systemic problem in the financial industry at all. But there always are going to be a bank or two that maybe just don't manage properly, and they go out. And again, that's why we have the underlying system of FDIC and the Fed and the Treasury that basically can come in and make sure that our financial system works consistently well over long periods of time. Again, if you look at the financials, you look at big stocks, some of the biggest bank stocks, let's say, year to date, some of these are down 15, 20%. Some of them are down 40% from their highs. And some of these are high quality institutions that are making quality money, that are trading at dirt cheap valuations on book and PE ratio, but they're still growing and have a decent dividend. So those are oftentimes you want to add to areas of exposure like that, because these are the times you want to buy on the cheap. Remember, recessions come and go. They don't last forever. And again, we'll probably have a recession this year, maybe in the third quarter, maybe fourth quarter, but I think at that point it should be relatively mild. Again, volatility, but the market is already pricing in a lot of these things. The pessimism amongst Wall Street, by the way, is almost at record highs again. Remember, Wall Street's always wrong. So if you kind of do the opposite of Wall Street saying, you'll probably have benefited more on the long term. We're doing a lot of research daily. We're making adjustments as necessary. We're not going to make emotional adjustments. And I know there's things you hear in the news, or there's things often that investors will hear about, whether it's the economy or the U.S. dollar not being the dollar anymore, the reserve currency. All these things get people maybe a little flustered. But you can't put your emotional decision making into the investment management, because it really will wreak havoc in the portfolio. So we do look for greener pastures, as I said earlier in this year, as we continue through 2023. We'll make adjustments as necessary. Make sure if you do have any questions, please call the office. If you have any concerns, please call the office. And as always, if you need to schedule a phone review or in-office review, give us a call. Let's do so. We want to make sure that you are well communicated to and that you understand we're doing the job that you've entrusted us to do. Have a safe and profitable day.